Hi, everyone. It's Adriana Monique Alvarez, and I am so excited to be coming to you live with two of our contributors for Sacred Redesign. So, first off, Melissa, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you. So my name is Melissa Chernow. I am a voice and visibility coach and the founder of Cardinal Publishing House. Everything in the name of self-expression and allowing yourself to use your voice.
I love it. And I'm over here making sure that this is playing over on Facebook. Okay, hold on. It looks like we are.
Beautiful.
Emily, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
So I'm a holistic practitioner, predominantly a kinesiologist and a coach. And I work with people to help them introduce them to the archetype of Lilith, the goddess of Lilith, and then to essentially bespoke their life and to take that DNA strand and clean out their DNA of stuff that isn't working for them. So generations back, and we've inherited it, and it's not our limitation, and basically transform their DNA memories.
Wow. Well, just light work here. No big deal. Okay, I'm pushing buttons. I'm coming back to you. Okay. So, Melissa, why did you say yes to sharing your story in Sacred Redesign?
I felt the call. I felt it in my body and it was undeniable. I mean, I remember opening the first email, reading the title, feeling the yes, and saying, okay, we're going to do this thing, right? I've spent far too long denying my desires and denying my intuitive knowings that it was like, no, we're doing this. Not to mention just the time in history that we're all living in, right? Like these past 2 years have been a redesign. And so, what have we all been doing for the past 2 years? I want to let you know what I've been up to and how I've been supporting my community. And so, yeah, it all just completely aligned.
I like that. What have you been up to for the last 2 years? We would love to hear that in the comments. Emily, what about you? First of all, Emily, this is what I want to know. How did you hear about the book? Because I didn't know you before this.
So I knew about the book because my best friend and business partner, Camilla Fellis Arnold, had you on her radar about 9 months ago, maybe even longer, and said to me, we need to hang out with Adriana. There's some stuff there I need to learn. She's our person. And I was like, okay. And essentially, after 2.5 years of being friends with Camilla, whatever she says, I kind of go with it because she's usually about 9 months ahead of the rest of the world. She just has a way of seeing. So I'm like, okay, if she tells me that's where people are going to be, I'm going to go there.
Oh my goodness. I love hearing this. And it's also so good for other people who are watching who have a business. There's people who are watching you and who are reading your emails and your posts and watching what you're up to, and you don't have any idea. You don't know which day which offer is going to click, and you never know when they're going to email their friend and go, hey, listen, we got to do this. So I love hearing about that. Okay, so when you came to your chapter, what did you know you had to include, or what was the scariest part to write about? Tell us something about your process and what went into your particular chapter, Melissa.
So I started with, actually, we talked about it briefly. And one of the stories that wanted to come through was the concussions that I had in high school, the last of which put me out of school. Like I was basically doing the bare minimum to survive, to go to school every day, but not know what really was going on. Like I was just walking through the motions. And that to me was such a redesign because it felt like it happened to me. And I was so freaking pissed off. And then once I kind of softened into, okay, well, this has been my reality for the past 3 months. We're really not making any progress. We might be here for, a little while longer. How do we want to shift this experience? And what do we want to take from this experience? And so I wrote that a variety of different ways before, finding the one that really resonated and stuck. And then I was like, oh, there's more. And so I ended up tying in 2 other stories that, are parallels. And yeah, I think it's always just interesting how, you know, I knew what I was going to write about, but it still unlocked so many things. It still challenged me and stretched me in, of course, the most beautiful ways, like writing and healing in general does. So,
Absolutely. What about you, Emily?
So my once it spoke to me, I was like, yeah. The second my friend said to me, this is the chapter, the title of the book, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I could talk about. It just came straight away. So essentially the story is how I use that epigenetics tool to redesign right from inside. So what you're doing is these inherited patterns, we're living them out. So my ancestor makes a choice 5 generations ago, and now I am doing that thing. So a small example is that she used food to help her suppress her authenticity. And my aunt, my grandmother, my uncle, my aunts, and all of my cousins get to that age, and then they balloon. They're all skinny, and then they balloon at that age. It's like that trips in on them. So the idea that you could literally make the same choices that she's made, or different choices, and redesign yourself, it fitted the title perfectly. So it kind of wrote itself, really.
Yeah, exactly. Just perfectly put it in. What is your intention? What is your hope? What is your prayer for the people who read your chapter, Melissa?
that you realize how wildly capable you are of living the life of your dreams.
Beautiful. Emily?
That not all the things you think are yours, and you can literally redesign yourself. And it is a really sacred thing to do it through epigenetics, to realize that you too can look at the inherited limitations and let them go, and pick up those strands that are the potential. Because my ancestor was creative, she was a poet, she was prolific, and now I'm writing more than I've ever done. So I get to choose to be that. And that other people realize they can do the same and that's what I'm finding with my clients, is that they pick up those DNA strands themselves and make some brave choices.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So I want to remind everyone the best way that you can support these ladies and the book Sacred Redesign. We are launching on Friday. So if you would download that Kindle version, you don't need a Kindle version or Kindle to read it. You can just download it. You can read it on any device. And if you would leave a 5-star review on Amazon, this not only allows us to get the stories into more people's hands, it allows us to sell more copies on Amazon for people who don't even know it exists, who might just be searching and going through. And all of the proceeds from this book are going to a beautiful nonprofit of one of the contributors in here, Asha. And so it's a win-win-win. You are going to be inspired. You're going to literally see all the different ways and means that you can redesign your life, or that you can appreciate the life that you've designed. You can support them in sharing their story, and you can be a big part of changing the world. And it's real simple. This nonprofit, they help communities get clean water. Sometimes we forget and take for granted that we have access to that every single day. So we will be sharing all over the internet, the graphics, the links to purchase. We launch Friday, April 22nd. We appreciate your support. And ladies, I want to tell you, thank you for sharing your story, for saying yes. And
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
I was going to say the same thing. We appreciate you creating the opportunity for us to do so.
It's my pleasure. And I want you, Melissa, as we sign off, where can people learn more about you?
So Instagram is a great way to connect with me. Melissa, it's not the name that you see here, but it's at Melissa Melrose with an underscore at the end, or you can message me on Facebook.
Perfect. Emily?
And I predominantly live on LinkedIn, or I have my own Mighty Networks. So my LinkedIn is my name, and my Mighty Networks is The Woman Bespoke Your Life with Lilith.
Beautiful. All right. We shall see you on Friday for the big celebration. Until next time, remember, your life is yours to design. Here's to creating heaven on earth. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.